Well, it says we're live. We need to go here, content, live. We need to go this darn thing. I need to turn this on and save. This, save. All right, we're up and going. Let's see, do we have anybody in here yet? Two watching. All right. All righty, this is our twice weekly hangout. We'll wait for a few people to come in. I just been working on my project here. Taking me this is the 12th day on this. So a couple weeks. I'm just putting the sheeting on this tonight, and I just fixed the push rod, so we're gonna do some bridging in here. Guess I better make sure that that went on before. Maybe I didn't post it. Okay, here we go here. Hang out. Yeah, it's on there. Red once. Okay, good. We got no chat. Okay. Want to thank Helmet Head and his Misfits last Friday. They donated $39. So come on back. We can handle it. As soon as I get my crew in here. All righty. Let's cut some strips here. Is this necessary? Not really, but I'm going to do it anyway. Here comes Gary Sinclair. One across there and top. Hey, Gary, you're muted.
Can't get my mouse to go over there and hit the button.
Helmet Head and his crew donated $39 to the cause.
Wow.
Plus some entertainment.
Yeah, that was caught us by surprise that time, didn't they?
No, we did a good job of taking them out.
Yeah.
Usually that shit goes on for a long time. That's why they do it.
I was deleting as fast as I could.
We'll see how long it takes everybody to get in.
Yeah. Do you have blue skies today out there?
Ah, yeah, cold though, chilly. I thought.
Yeah, it's chilly. Yeah.
What I'm doing here really isn't necessary, but it can't hurt. With a little weight, it's going to add.
Oh, it makes it stronger in there. Yep. Can't help. Can't hurt. How many planes there and they actually lose their bell crank when they pull like that? Is there very many of them?
You would never be able to pull this out of my airplane. I have seen them pulled out at the Nats, though.
Have you?
Yep. The old way of doing it with a plywood floor is no good. Or it's bolted on one side. This is the only way to do it.
Yeah, they have to pull the whole thing apart there.
You have to pull it through the fuselage because it's
Yeah,
glued to the fuselage too.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. That sanded a little too much. There it is.
And that top piece you put on it goes over top all of that stuff there, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So you'd have to pull. My God.
I glue a piece of plywood between the fuselage sides too, capturing this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My God. Yep.
There is no way it could pull out. The lines will break before it pulls through the wood. This one here might be a little difficult. Pretty quiet tonight.
So far, it is.
I'll put it in.
They'll be coming in here shortly.
That's it. Oh, there's the original or the real Steve Smith.
I need to change
Yeah.
that back, I guess. Let's see.
Yeah.
How do I fix that?
There's your real guy right there.
Yeah.
The nighttime moderator.
Yeah.
I ought to just name it laptop the way Joe Gilbert's just says iPad.
You like my twister?
Yeah, did you test flown that thing yet?
No.
Are those two halves joined together now?
Yeah. Most definitely.
My cousin sent a picture out today. Looks like the park's going to be out from underwater here pretty soon.
Well, the only good thing about it is I'm not getting a million text messages a day about flying.
Yeah. I should like I don't know what the secret is, but I figured out how to get no text messages about it.
On purpose?
No, it just I mentioned that the last time I got a message was back on October 1st. And I've said something to Steve about it a few times and he can't. He said I guess he's having trouble with his phone. He couldn't figure out how to add me back in. So no biggie. I'll worry about it more when I got something ready to fly. It was it was nice just to know what was going on. I didn't really ever say anything in there, but I could hear who was flying and yep. I've been after Fred to put my cousin on the club email list. He joined the club this year, but he doesn't get any of the emails. I sent him a message a couple days about that. Gave him my cousin's email address, and he sent a couple emails out yesterday, and he still didn't have them on there.
I didn't get it.
You didn't get any emails?
No.
Are you in the club?
Yeah.
I wonder how they. Let's see.
It's all right. I got enough junk email as it is.
It was just about it was the announcement about the club meeting, and the October meeting moved to November. I'm not really gonna driving all the way out to Mark's house.
No. He got a nice house. You been there?
No.
It's super nice. I mean, high dollar.
Oh, really? Nice.
You know, they got a great work area. It's beautiful. It ain't like my dump, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't. Mine's not. Well, for one person, mine is plenty big, but it ain't a big house.
But you know the nice thing about my house?
Paid for.
Paid for.
100%.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Yep.
Cost me $900 a year to live here.
Oh man, my real estate tax is way worse than that.
That's
Close
good.
to close to $3,000, maybe. Maybe another 15 to I think 1,700 for my homeowners. It's still cheaper than it would be to make, payments 12 months of the year, but do you guys have a lower property tax rate down there, Sparky?
Yeah.
Yeah, they come out. They're pretty crafty about that, man. They caught me at home this year for the first time, rang the doorbell, and I answered, "Yeah, we're the assessor and we're here." And they're like, "You got a finished basement, right?" And I was like, "No, I don't. I've never had a finished basement." Do you have it down there that I did? Oh no, we were just checking. And they're like, "Guess that's the way of catching you." They can say your property's worth more if you finish your basement. Who is the guy? There's a guy in the club that lives not Joe Ed Peterson. I know he lives out of St. Louis, but there's another guy. I think he was trying to have a contest one time and nobody came to it from up here, and he got mad at everybody. Does that sound familiar, Sparky?
I wasn't here. I've been in Ohio.
Oh, yeah, that one. I guess the way it was described, you probably hadn't made it back yet. I'm just looking through all the people on this list. Fred sent it out to you. Right, I don't see you on there. Paul Getters. I don't know where, but I feel like I know.
Hello?
Yeah,
Johnny Longwalk, you have food order?
feel like I know that name from somewhere. Maybe he was in the RC club I was in.
Johnny Longwalk, you have food order?
Phil coming in.
Here's Sparky's trying to become a Chinese restaurateur. I can't believe the man can build a wing that fast.
12 days.
Been that long? I didn't think been that long.
12 hours. Maybe 13, I don't know.
Did you get anything painted, Phil?
No. No.
Got everything started and the phone rang and I had to pack everything up and get out of town right quick and go help somebody out. It don't seem to work. I thought I was gonna paint today and got up this morning. I thought it was supposed to be a real pretty day and I got up and it was drizzling rain and 65 degrees. So they said, oh, it's gonna be pretty this afternoon. So we waited around all day and it never got pretty. I finally took the dog out a few minutes ago. It looks the best now. It's looked all day, but it's dark out there. I'll get it next week or tomorrow. I'll get it tomorrow or sometime. Won't be next week. It'll be tomorrow or Wednesday after get home from class. Everything it's now slide the model into the thing and put the safety pin in it, hook up the air hose and go. Well, I'll have to take the what is he doing? I have to take the air compressor set up and ready. I just got to turn it on. Anyway, all I got to do is just turn everything on and go. It's as ready as I can make it. I'll have to take the dryer and the pressure regulator outside and hang it on the stand and run the hoses to it. But the hose from it to the gun is on and ready. It'll just be plug it to the gun and go. And Sparky was right. It does shoot better at mine shoots better at 17 pounds. I don't know why, but 17 pounds seems to be the magic number.
Which airplane is this that's in the stand to paint now?
Humongous. Do what? No, that's the old ones. I couldn't get the new ones to work.
Well, since we're on the topic of paint, Wendy came out with a new paint video today. Charlie Reeves, talking about Charlie Reeves and his big job. Now, I made a statement on that.
I did try them. Go ahead.
And Wendy is, Wendy's a hell of a painter. You can't take that away from him.
Oh, no.
I was trained by the U.S. government. I know a little bit about paint. They were talking about where did the paint separate? Why didn't the paint stick? Why did it delaminate? Well, I've talked about it before, and I can't emphasize it enough. You can't take an airplane and put polyacrylic on it, which is a plastic, and then shoot dope over the top of it and expect it to stick. It won't, period. Because one is a chemical bond and the other is a mechanical bond. So then they talked about putting down polyacrylic and then shooting dope on it and then covering over the top of the dope with polyurethane. So what you got there is two hard layers of plastic with a floating layer in between it. So when the sun comes out and it starts heating that stuff up, it's moving, it's shifting. So you're going to get bubbles.
What's polyacrylic? Polyacrylic that I know of.
Is the stuff I used on the foam to get it ready to cut ribs for a wing like what you're working on there.
That's it. I got a gallon of it down there.
You mean somebody puts polyacrylic on as a finish?
Yeah, it's been done
Yeah.
as a substrate.
No, I don't do that. I'm crazy, but I ain't that crazy.
I hope it wasn't Wendy or
Charlie did that.
It was Charlie Reeves.
Oh, Lord.
I've had the discussion with Charlie, but he had to ask Wendy and Bob Brookins. But I thought that, because Charlie used to call me and ask me what I thought of it. And I said, I thought of different stuff. And I'd say, hey, man, you can't do that.
Who came in here? Joe Gilbert.
Hey,
Welcome.
Phil.
Hey, how are you? Welcome to the madness.
Doing fine.
That's iPad.
Yeah, that's what we're going to call you, is iPad.
iPad Joe. It
You
works.
missed Helmet Head last week.
Who is Helmet Head?
No clue, but he was fun.
Vector 40 wing?
Some miscreants found a link to the Zoom meeting in the
Oh, my
YouTube
goodness.
show, and they bombed the comments, and they kept joining the meeting. And one of the guys was wearing a helmet, and he also turned around and showed us his backside, unclapped backside. It was an IQ test, I think, is what it was.
They weren't model airplane people then.
But the important thing though is they gave, was it $40, Sparky?
$39 and change.
In
Oh
super
my
chat.
goodness. Bless their hearts.
Yeah, Sparky was come back.
Please come back. That's right. That's lovely.
And everybody was having a good time.
Yeah, nobody got really, I think they wanted people to get mad, but nobody really got mad. They just kind of laughed at them.
It's life. There's bigger things to worry about than that.
Yeah. Well, at that age, maybe these were all young kids, I say young kids. Were they maybe teenagers, maybe early 20s, something like that, I'm guessing?
I'd say 20.
Yeah.
So that's a tapered wing too. Is that the same wings you flew, other one you built?
Yep.
Is that a crossfire type wing, Sparky?
Very similar.
Very similar.
Yep. Very similar. Got a little bit more cord.
It's a good looking wing.
Wait till you see the flaps I want to put on it.
Taper them too. Taper them too. Make a good chipmunk wing, Phil, that there would. That'd make a good chipmunk wing.
Here's
Double
the flap
tapered.
right here.
Yeah. 1/4 inch rascal.
No, 3/8.
No, 3/8. Okay.
3/8.
Yep. I always use 3/8.
Hey, look who's in.
Ed has appeared.
Yeah, I know it's too good to be true. Evening, everybody.
Good
I
evening. How are you?
Surviving. Got beat up pretty good today at physical therapy.
Oh
I'm
boy.
sorry,
Oh,
bar
Lord.
fight.
Did they cut on you first?
August 20th, they replaced my knee.
Oh boy, you still got pain.
Oh, I didn't start therapy until after 2 months.
I thought
2
it
months
was,
off the leg, and then you start therapy.
I thought it was your ankle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just now you said knee.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. I was confused.
No
Both
worries.
knees were done too.
Poor guys had all kind of bionic parts put on them.
Yeah.
He's $6 million man. Let's see you run high and jump fast.
Yeah, getting there.
Run fast, jump high.
Yeah, I said it backwards on purpose.
Which was a more significant operation, the ankle or the knee?
The ankle or the knees.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they replace your knee, and the next day they want you going up and down steps, and bend it 90 degrees to get released.
As long as they ain't bending it backwards, you're okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
got to
you
get to
think-
-1 degree.
What is that squadron shield behind you? Next
I
TV.
was 18th Tech Fighter Wing,
Uh-huh.
F4s, and that was we had 44th Fighter Group and the 67th Fighter Group.
Now you were Air Force, right?
Yeah.
I knew what it was. I mean, but Navy's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks everybody for their service also.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
All right. You guys ready for the grand total of this wing with no flaps? Of course, the horns on it.
8 ounces.
No. It'll
I'm
be
gonna say
less.
6.
Less than that, huh?
I'm gonna say
There's not
6.
much wood in there.
It's gonna be more than that.
What?
I bet it's probably closer to 9 ounces.
That's what I said.
You said 8 ounces.
8 ounces.
Okay, we got
That rod's causing you grief.
Yep, we got a whole lot more than that even.
Really?
Yeah, of course, it's got the horn on it.
Well, that counts. A part of the wing.
Yeah. Put the flaps on it. See what this
They're
thing.
they're an ounce a piece, aren't they?
They better
If
not.
you get one for under 13, you're gonna do pretty good, I think.
$13.25.
There you go. That's pretty good. Get the dope and polish pan, have a fit.
No polish pan.
You don't do polish pan, huh?
Not anymore.
Why?
Too heavy. Takes too much dope.
Uh-huh.
It's a nice
Monaco?
product. It's a nice product, but
It's just super strong.
oh yeah.
You said you're gonna go Monaco on this one, right, Sparky?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
I don't believe that for a minute.
Me neither.
Ultra Coat. They don't make Monaco anymore. He's doing.
Okay.
I don't believe that either. I ever see Sparky with a monocoated or plastic coated iron-on film airplane. I'll go put mine back in the car.
Yeah, well, I had them. I did Steve's.
Yeah, but it wasn't for you.
No. So we got, like I said, it was 13.25. So
And the hinges. You'll be 14 time you get the hinges and all that in it.
yeah, that's 3 ounces lighter than a foamy though.
That's right. You got pins in it too everywhere. Is there pins stuck in it a few?
They
That's
don't.
still that's a light wing. That's still a light wing, Robert.
But it's got.
You don't want to box it
Set up
up.
and send it to me. I'll put it in the plane.
I'll do you that for $1,000.
No,
I don't even think I want to do it for 1,000. There's a lot of work in there.
I don't know if I can make it.
$1,000 in 12 hours. I'd be setting up Bill Wings.
Well, I'm going to work on motorcycles on Wednesday. I make $50 an hour cash. So
Mm-hmm. All you work on is them Harley Davidsons, though, isn't it?
that's it. It's the only motorcycle that I know of. The rest of them are just fake.
Oh, shoot.
I rode rice burners.
A lot of years. They're fun too.
They're all ball bearing jackasses, Phil. They want to throw you.
That's it. I got thrown twice. The second
Was enough to teach me. I don't think I won't do this again.
Dirt bikes, I got thrown off a lot of dirt bikes. That's
Oh,
causing
no.
knees, ankles, and oh my goodness.
I raced dirt bikes for years. And then I got in my 40s, when I hit 40 in my infinite wisdom, actually 39 and through my mid 40s, I raced bicycles, mountain bikes. I got hurt more on bicycles than I ever did on motorcycles.
There's no power to get you out of trouble. You got to quit pedaling and hang on.
one that got me the
Worst they ran us the same time they started us, and then 45 minutes later they started the young Olympians, but we had to do 2 laps. So second lap, a young Olympian was catching up behind me and I could hear him coming, and I got over. He had a bad attitude and come over and just kicked me off the track. Literally took his foot and kicked me off the track. Now, the kid was headed for the Olympics, very talented rider, but very poor sport.
He was been in the NFL for me, not for long.
Well, I went down an embankment, busted my front wheel. I mean, just destroyed my front wheel. Went down the embankment, but he had 2 problems. One, I know the track. It's my home. Hobby Park is my home track. And 2, I have a bad attitude with people who have a bad attitude. So when I knew the track came up and came back down, so when he came back down by me, I didn't want to walk all the way back to the car. So I clotheslined his butt, took his front wheel, put it on my bike, and I went back to the pits. But we both forgot something. That was a national race, and there was cameras everywhere. So they caught everything that happened, and the big screen up in the parking lot showed exactly what happened. So when I got up there, his sponsor came out and wanted my bicycle. When I got my bike, they took me over to the tent because I'd hit my head, busted my helmet. I didn't realize my helmet was busted right down the middle. And anyway, when it was all over, I had nearly a brand new bike. They put new derailleurs on it. They put new wheels on it. I mean, the newest stuff. It was nice. His sponsor was a bike shop, but it was owned by his father. And he come out of the woods cussing and saying all kinds of things, and his father just pointed to that big camera and said, "Son, we all know what you did. You ain't going to the Olympics."
Got a
So
question for you, Joe.
that was
What
the
you
end of
got?
that.
When we were flying in your airplane, and I was complaining about not being able to see over the dashboard, and you said, "Here, let me trim it." Why do you when the nose is up, is that there's no flap?
Climbing. Right,
Huh?
you're climbing.
Yeah, but there's no flap in it. Why did you keep moving that knob? That's what I was thinking about.
The faster you go when you change, the trim only works for one airspeed. So as your flaps are up, you pull the power and you put the nose over, you go faster. The faster you go, the more down trim it takes. So you're continually trimming it as you pick up speed.
And this is the way it works in all airplanes.
That's correct.
Depends on the airfoil.
No, it doesn't. The faster you go, the more lift you make, it's going to climb. Don't give a damn what airfoil you got.
Oh, I see
So-
what you mean.
So let's say, Ed, were you a pilot?
Not officially. I've got about 90 hours and never finished it.
Did you fly an F4? That's what I was thinking about.
No, they had problems and wouldn't let me back then.
Okay, because I'm thinking back to F-14s. There was no trim wheel in the cockpit, or where was it?
On the stick, probably, or on the throttle. More likely it's on the
That's what that
stick.
red button is on the stick.
Probably
Yeah.
stick. They got aileron and up and down, typically
yeah.
speaking.
It's
So
got
all
trim.
electronic. It's not manual.
Yeah, it's all fly by wire on a
Yeah.
14.
I don't know what when the wings swing on those airplanes, there may be some automatic trim changes happen to help you. I don't know that.
I don't know either.
When those wings move, it's going to change the trim of the airplane
Well,
tremendously. And
I-
they know that, and they may have that partly automatic. I don't know, Robert, what they do on that.
On the F4, I used to rig flight controls, and one of the checks was on the ailerons. Is check is run the trim full left, full right, and then bring it back in the middle, so you have the trim set in the middle for the cockpit.
So how far do those elevators or flaps or ailerons, rudder, how far do they move when you move that wheel? Just a little bit, or?
Oh, this very tiny. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't even see it. You
Yeah.
can't even see the elevator move.
Joe,
Typically,
what-
an ailerons go down 17 degrees and up 18 or 19. Typically speaking, on general aviation airplanes, an aerobatic airplane could be different, but most
talking about the trim,
airplanes.
just the trim tab. How far does it drop? A couple of degrees?
Oh, it'd probably go up 7 or 8 degrees each way.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
Uh-huh.
It's a little bitty area, but it moves up.
Yeah.
You
And
can
each
you
airplane
can see it
is
moving.
different.
It's
Think
different.
about this, Robert.
Think about this, Robert. 3 of the accidents that have happened at Reno involving P-51 Mustangs, what they've tracked it back to was a trim tab on the elevator coming off, and the plane slammed up so hard that the pilot's head hit something in that cockpit, and that's what knocked him out, which is what killed him.
Yeah.
Caused the
Well,
crash.
it pushed him the whole seat down in the
Yeah,
cockpit.
it may have broke it. It
Yeah.
pulled 21 G's, I think, according to the telemetry. You could look that up. There's information on that. They had
Yeah, but
telemetry on that airplane.
The tab's only like this, and it's 2.5 inches.
Yeah, Mustang's probably.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know
18
what it is on the racing model. It might be different, but
What
on a
was this?
P-51 D Mustang, because there's one 20 miles from here, it's not that big. It's much
4
smaller
inches,
than I expected
18
it to be.
probably. And they had one of them unhooked on the Galloping Ghost. They only had one trim tab. Other one was fared, and they made one do all the work. So let's just say it went 20 degrees, and going that fast is a lot of pressure. If you had 2 of them, you might have got away with 12 or 13 degrees. You know, that whole thing was a bad deal.
So that explains
Yeah.
why there's a lot of force on that. That explains why I don't know, do you remember my Thunderbolt #2? But the flap
Yeah, I
flew
remember it.
off. The flap flew off in the hourglass in the top turn, where it's going straight over your head, came delaminated, and that flap flew off and it barrel rolled right into the pavement.
Oh
5
yeah.
in front of me. And
That's all.
I wouldn't think that it would be that much of a difference, but if you're telling me you're turning that knob 1 or 2 degrees in that thing, or 1 or 2 turns, and the flap's moving 7 degrees, the trim, that must be a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah,
And
it can be.
I think on the P-51 for takeoff, my buddy kicks in 4 or 5 degrees right rudder trim,
Yeah, I thought it was 7,
Mhm.
but it could be. There
I
is a
thought it was
number to
7
roll
as
it
well,
on.
but I don't
somewhere
know.
around there.
Yeah, they do a lot.
and that compensates for torque roll, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Joe, what airplane did you take Sparky up in?
RB9.
RB9.
So we're climbing at 90. You push it over to 100, it takes trim, pull the power back, and you can easily do 140 on the downwind, You just got to trim it all. Anytime you change, if you change power settings, it's going to either climb or dive if you don't touch the trim. It's going to maintain that 140 or awful close to it.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, Joe was pretty busy on that circuit. I mean, he's always moving something.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. The tower's busy.
Trim
The
is
less
for
less
level
perform-
flight. Adding power or reducing power is changing your altitude.
It will.
the less performance the airplane has, the calmer you can be. But the higher the performance of the airplane, the more things the pilot has to do.
There's more going on,
Boy,
Yeah.
aerodynamically wise.
let me tell you, I went and flew a King Air 200 while I was at the embassy in Pakistan, and I was over controlling big time. And that they wanted to make sure I was an emergency pilot in case something ever happened, which did after I left. And that, but yeah, talk about sensitivity.
You don't move much. It doesn't take much movement
No,
to keep an airplane. If you got a stick, if you just put a quarter on top of that stick and stayed inside that quarter, you could fly the airplane with a lot of conditions.
Yeah.
yeah,
Ed, I can't see you flying an F4. They wouldn't let me get near one. They said you're too tall. And you're not that much smaller than not
yeah.
height-wise, you're not that much smaller than I am.
And that's why I didn't pursue it. I had glasses, and back then 6'2" was all right, but I had glasses and stuff.
That's
I
a
was
jet.
I was 6'4", and
Yeah.
I got to sit in one time, and I'm telling you what,
Jets are a whole other world.
I gained a lot of respect for the guys that fly those things, because that is a lot of buttons. Jeez, whiskers.
I'm just going to say, I've sat, obviously when I was, in the Navy, I sat in that 14 cockpit. All around, there's buttons on both sides and a big pile of gauges, all kind of shit. How do you keep track of all this crap?
If it's not shiny, don't mess with it. You don't need it.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't mess with the yellow, black, striped handles.
Oh yeah, yeah. Leave that alone.
One of them is an ejection handle, the other's a canopy ejection, the other is an emergency fuel shut off, and the other one's a tail hook.
Yeah.
Don't mess with those.
Don't get them mixed up.
Oh my goodness.
Come in and think you're gonna drop a tail hook and you just shot the canopy off. That could be a bad deal.
Now they do have a little wheel for landing gear, though. It's a little plastic gray wheel, about an 1.5 inches in diameter on a stick, and you move that back and forth.
Usually got to pull them out to move them.
Yeah.
Usually got to pull them out, put them down, and snap back
That's
in.
been 50 years ago. I don't remember exactly how that worked.
CRS is real, Sparky.
Airplanes are a wonder. Helicopters, oh my goodness. They just beat the air into submission and fly somehow. I don't know if anybody knows how they really fly. Golly.
Well, that's just like the Bumblebee. I got a buddy who's a theoretic mathematician. And it says on paper a bumblebee cannot fly, but a bumblebee don't know theory, so it flies anyway.
We were out in the field today flying models and shooting gliders. When you get get a rubber band glide, shoot that bugger up that goes up 70, 80 feet and rolls out level. and it's so beautiful. How can they do that?
Yeah.
My gosh, it's incredible.
Yep.
I tell you what,
A tree, but I got it back.
have you ever watched them fly the big ones, 2 meter, 4 meter, 6 meter gliders?
I've seen it the Nats, but I've never been around them. I played with it.
I did that for years, and I'm telling you what, so did Mr. Adamison. And I'm telling you, it's beautiful, and it's nice that it's so
man.
quiet. Yeah, they are gorgeous, and it's so much fun. But it's no fun doing it by yourself, and everybody around here left, died off, moved, retired, something. I found myself going out there on Saturday morning to be by myself, and I just didn't care anything about that.
Well, our little field, you can't. I'm shooting little gliders that big, but
Oh yeah,
they're
fun
too. Say they're a 20-second glider with nothing happens. But if they get up there and catch a thermal and the wings start rocking, you're saying, "Oh, go! Please don't go! Please don't go fly that thermal." It's amazing what a thermal does. But if you get 2-minute flight at our circle, you're going to lose that booger.
Yeah.
You're starting in Patty's yard, Robert, and shooting it can all the way down the street in 2 minutes.
And we had
Land up on the highway.
Yes.
I got the brilliant idea one time to build a rubber pan powered airplane, like the one the guy flies indoors at the Carl Hopkins. But anyway, this was an outdoor model, and I'm just at Hobby Park, just tossing it. Just tossing it. See, will it glide? Which way does it go? What does it do? Does it just go straight? I was trying to induce just a little turn to make it turn. And I threw it about 4 times, and I'd make a little trim change, and I'd throw it again. The grass needed cutting. It was up about so high, so it didn't hurt the model when it went in too hard a couple of times. But anyway, I said, I think I got it. I'm going to try one more time. And the object was to make it do one circle. So I tossed it, and it made one circle, and it caught a thermal, and it made another circle. And it made
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So about the next day, I think it was, on the way home from work, my cell phone went off, and a guy over in Clemens, that's 20 miles away, calls and says, "Hey, are you Philip Bailey?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, I think I've got something belongs to you." "What you got?" And he said, "I got this little red and yellow airplane that landed between the lanes on the highway on I-40. Say what? It's a good ways to I-40 from Hobby Park. And he said it landed. He told me it's right there in front of the new where what Honda of Winston-Salem moved to Clemens. I don't know what they call it now, but anyway, it was on the highway right in front of that. I said, "That's a quarter mile from Clemens." He says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, doggone." So he stopped and picked it up, and he called me. I have a number in it. So he called me. I went over and picked it up, got it back. It's hanging downstairs. It never flown again.
That's crazy. You got to have thermalizers. We've lost it.
Yeah.
I didn't set the dethermalizer, which on that airplane is light a fuse. And I've never wound the prop. The prop's just in it. It was just on it. There's not even there's rubber band in it, but it wasn't wound up. I never wound it. I didn't even own a winder till the guy at Carl Hopkins gave me one last year. I've never owned one.
You could take a plastic bag and a thermal and win the Nats.
I'm telling you, you get a strong enough thermal. I had a Legionnaire 140 coming down. It was about 50 feet high in the contest. And I needed a 10-minute flight, and I was struggling to try to get this thing stay up for 2 minutes. And at about 30 feet, I hit a thermal, and I got my 10-minute flight. Yep. But a Legionnaire 140 was an exceptional sailplane. But anyway, RES. But I love that thing. It's still hanging downstairs too. Well, it's not hanging. It's on the table in pieces because it comes apart. But anyway, 140-inch sailplane.
Free flights are they're just marvelous. God must make them fly. They're so pretty.
That guy that comes to Carl Hopkins blew my mind so bad when he just walked out in the middle room, got down on his one knee, and just did this and let the prop go. And he just turned around and walked back to the table and looked at his watch and walked back to the table. A minute or two later, he looked at his watch again, walked out to the middle of the room, and the plane comes around and lands at his feet. Reaches down, picks it up, only stopped he stopped the plane, touched down, he reached down, bent over, picked it up, walked back to the table. And I'm sitting there, how the heck did he do that?
That wasn't his first rodeo, I promise.
No, I guarantee you.
Yeah, he's amazing.
That guy
So-
is amazing. He had my
Yes.
complete attention.
Yeah. So Phil, did you watch the 3-minute YouTube on Carl Hopkins
Yes,
link
I
that
did.
I
That was
sent you?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
that was good. I enjoyed that.
That'll help
That was-
with raising money for this next year coming.
Yeah, I don't think I saved it, but I need to and
Well, it's
show it
just
to
on
people.
YouTube.
Okay, I'll see about
And,
getting some people to look at it. We'll see if we can't get some people to drop in $1 or $2. That was a lot of fun. If you guys have never been, if you ever get a chance to go, you need to go. It's a lot of fun and it's
It'll be August 8th and 9th.
very interesting. Ed puts on a heck of a show. Have you had any luck have you thought any more about that contest?
Yes, I have. And they told me that from August or September, I could have that outdoor turf if I wanted to do something like that.
Wow.
And, that looked like big enough for almost 3 circles.
I think we get 3 circles out there without any trouble. 2 to the front and 1 to the back. I don't think you have any trouble at all. And they have room for pits on the off sides. So yeah.
So
I think it'd be
that
great.
was funny because I talked to him today about it. I says, hey, listen, for 2026, what do you think if I use the field? And I'd like to try to organize a control line fun fly or contest or whatever. And so, they said late August, early or September is no problem. And it's artificial turf, and it's real low. So
You hold it. I'll be there, Bubba.
Okay.
That place is fun. Lord willing, I'll be there. If I can't fly, I'll judge.
I was out flying my ARF Smoothie today with the Brodak 40. If y'all ain't never flown a Smoothie, that's a pretty good classic airplane.
Yeah.
It flies remarkably well.
It won't fly with that Venus.
It'll turn us good.
It turns as good, but it don't. I've never seen a Smoothie that would put up a pattern like that. You flew that
Maybe
Venus.
not.
It looked like a PA ship.
That Venus does fly good. I've got Vico wheels on it and I think there's a ½ ounce of lead on the gear to get that vertical CG right. But I got it dialed in pretty good. I think, man, this thing flies pretty nice. I was impressed that little Brodak 40.
It looked like a PA ship at Brodak last year, and he's running about 20% nitro in it, so it's belching fire. I don't mean kiddingly. I mean that thing's belching fire.
It does a good job.
It sounded like a 60. It's a 46. It sounded like a 60 and ran like one. And it was about you tell them, Sparky, it was about as smooth a running as any tuned pipe plane you ever seen.
Well, you can check it out on my YouTube channel.
See the squares. You can hear the engine. It's coming on during the maneuver. It was doing its job just like it should.
It was impressive. It was very impressive. The only thing was missing was enough wind to have Joe doing his dance.
I don't think Joe likes dancing like that.
That man can do the darndest dance when it's in the wind and put up the prettiest flight.
Yeah, it's a lot better to stand still. You can't.
Yeah.
Way better to stand still.
Well, he was. I went to the Nats and he was flying the Bluebird, the blue airplane. God, I've seen somebody that should have been wore out at the end of a flight, but he should have been worn to slap out. He was moving the whole time. Them feet were going, and he's moving every which way.
There's a lot of energy in the wind, y'all.
Yeah.
You remember the year at the Nats, the Brazilians were there doing dead stick loops? Them guys?
Yeah.
Wind flying.
Yeah, they were wind flying. You could hear the lines going, vibrating.
Yeah, sound like they were singing to us.
For the new guy here, do you care to talk about the footwork in the wind? What are you accomplishing, or what do you do, and when do you do it?
Backing up to make it go up, keep the energy, and walk forward coming down to keep the airplane slowed down. And if you do like an hourglass, when you get to the top, if you start walking as you do that top maneuver, you're keeping the airplane under you longer. so you can get a better turn and have time to come down nicer. And if you just stand still, it's blowing down as it's flying across the top. If you'll turn that
It keeps
third
it from
turn,
picking
second
up so
turn,
much speed.
but you can walk with it up downwind and it stays over your head, so you can get a longer down line to make it look a little better.
It looked a
Triangles,
lot
I used
better.
to walk at it on the way down to slow that third turn down. It's energy management. If you'd like to think the pipes will do it. The electric airplanes, in my opinion, are better than the wind and the gas engines, and that's heresy. But those systems work, man. Just watch Orestes. Orestes is as good as the wind as anybody, and his airplane helps him tremendously.
I have flown. I watched a lot of flyers over the years, and I have never seen anybody that impressed me more than Orestes does. Now I've seen some people that pretty well tied him. Les McDonald is day in and day out. Les McDonald's still the best flyer I've ever seen. Fitzgerald, well, there's 5 or 6 that you just couldn't throw a nickel over, but some of these guys are just head and shoulders above normal humans. I mean, they just are amazing. And Joe ain't so bad himself.
Well, I can't compete with the rest of us. My airplane that you
not
got.
Many can.
Yeah, that airplane is working, dude. His airplane works well in the wind. It really does.
It does. It does. That little Chinese chick, she blew my mind too.
She could fly.
Well, she could fly.
In the wind, I flew that one windy morning when I warmed the judges up. The chairs were blowing over.
Yeah. I was walking out the field and a chair passed me. And Joe's out there getting ready to fly. I thought, he's out of his mind.
Well, they asked me to go do it. I said, okay.
Well, you did a good job.
To talk about. Give you something to talk about.
Well, you did. Did you notice that they all huddled together after your flight?
No, I didn't pay attention.
They got over there and huddled together and talked about it for about 10 minutes.
There's that much wrong. That's their job.
That's their job.
Yeah. Well, they must have figured it out, because when the contest started, they acted like they had it figured out. But I was watching one judge. I mean, I should have been watching them all, but I was watching Igor. I wanted to talk to him. I was there all week. I never did get to talk to him. Well, I wasn't either. I left Thursday, but I watched him up until Thursday about noon, and I never did get the chance to talk to him. So I finally had to contact him on Facebook after all. But I'd like to meet somebody before I go email them and asking them questions about their stuff they manufacture and sell, but I never did get to. But I asked him about it on there afterwards, and he told me that it should be available in November or October or November. Well, this is November, so I'm going to shoot him off an email here in the next day or two and see if they have them available yet and how much they are, because I still don't know how much the new ones are.
He's a good guy, Phil.
He seemed to be. Nice
man. That time in France, Sam had trouble with her electrics, and he was down on his hands and knees looking, found a problem with her airplane. And just him, not even his own team, just somebody, but he took time to get on his hands and knees and look at her airplane, find out what was wrong, and found a soldering gun or wherever it was and fixed it for her. Igor's, he's top shelf, man, in my opinion.
That's good. I can't figure out
why he didn't fly this time.
I've heard he wanted to retire from flying, but I don't know. There's more to it than that, I'm sure. But
yeah, it's weird. You come out with a new timer that's going to revolutionize things. It's so much better than anything we've had before, according to three of the people who have the new ones and are trying them out. It's head and shoulders above anything else. And yet he comes out with that and then retires. I'd wanted to come out and win with it one time and then go out on a high note. But he did, if you think about it, if he retired right there before the World Championships, he was the world champion. So he did go out on a high note.
That's, if you talk about that system, 4 people say it's better. There's not probably 1 in 100 know the difference between the two systems. If you put it in an airplane and didn't tell them, they wouldn't know the difference, Phil.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I talked to Paul Walker and a couple other guys at the Nats, and they were telling me, now this was last year's Nats, they were telling me that they, on those, that thing that the bolt, nut and bolt that you got the pin sticking out of, that you make your wires, make your own clips. And they had one on the backside. So it only moved it a 32nd of an inch or something.
You can
I
tell.
can't tell the difference in a 32nd of an inch
Yeah, I
difference.
can. I
You
can.
can?
For sure. Yeah, I get mine where I put a pencil line on it and I'll cover the pencil line up and I can tell the difference. Yeah, I can tell that.
Wow, I can't tell. I guess I'm just not that good at it. But I tell you what, they tell me it really makes a difference. So I bought one of the fancy ones.
Well, it
And
just makes your noodle, when you're doing maneuvers and you're popping it up and down and back to neutral, if it's diving or climbing, that's a handle adjustment,
Yeah.
and that little bit difference makes a difference. If it's descending, or climbing, that's an issue with your neutral. And if you fly 4 or 5 times, you can get it. But I just counted it today. I had 14 fancier handles ready to go for different airplanes. And I like all my neutrals the same. So I do spend a little time finding those neutrals, where I work it.
I think I've got 5 of that type handle, but I've only got 2 fanciers.
Yeah. My big airplanes, a lot of them have 2 sets of lines, a short
That's
set and
what
a
I
long
do.
set for the wind and no wind.
For many years, I always had a set of braids and a set of solids.
Yeah, I've tried
But-
solids, and there's a performance advantage in them, but dude, they are trouble.
Well, they're a lot more work, and you have to keep after them, because
They're
if you see a
finicky.
scratch,
If
if you see a scratch or a nick, throw them away.
you
They'll-
land and you catch a rock, and
Yeah,
it bends that little, you're done. It's over.
yeah, yeah. I think the reason that I got into it, honestly, is because somebody that I really look up to uses them, and I want to do like he does, because I figured there had to be an advantage there. But to me,
There is an advantage, but
there is an advantage, but there is so many disadvantages.
disadvantages. If
that
you
it
fly off the
just-
same field and it's clean and concrete, no rock sticking up,
Yeah,
nobody walking through the pits to step on your lines. You're walking across the grass. and
yeah. No
step on
RC
your
cars
lines.
running across your lines. Yeah.
What happened to Dennis at a mission? I ain't seen him in a couple of months now.
They're traveling.
Where are they going?
I don't know, but they said they were going to do some traveling.
Good for them.
Dennis needs to, man. He's been stuck for the longest time. He was saying he was wanted to go here and wanted to go there and wanted to do this and wanted to do that. He just hasn't had any time for doing different things he felt obligated to do. So he's taking a little time for himself, and I think that's a great thing to do.
After Tucson last year, they went on west and went to California and run
Yeah.
around for a while, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Vicky and I are hoping, if life don't get in the way, we are hoping first of the year, let's say first of the year, it'd be March or April, because we'll have to wait till it gets warm up Maine way. We're going to head for Canada. We're going to go up there, and we want to go up into Nova Scotia and come back down the east coast of the United States and see all the lighthouses.
Man, there's lots of them.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them, but I've never seen all of them.
The only
There's
one I was
no
there
joke.
Pensacola, Florida. At the
Yeah.
naval station, there's one. And
Yeah.
during the Civil War, they took that great big glass down and hid it, buried it where nobody'd shoot it out. But
Yeah.
it might be, if I said it's 3 foot across, I don't believe that's an exaggeration at all.
Oh no, I doubt
Blown
it.
glass. It's huge.
Yeah.
But if you talk about the hurricanes coming, just get in that lighthouse. It's been there a long time. It'd probably be okay.
Yeah. There's one in Georgia that I would not be the keeper of that light for no man's money, because the ocean is lapping at the base of that thing anyway. In a storm,
Is that right?
It would really be a mess.
Wow.
And in Maine, there's one that's 6 feet tall. Of course, it sits right out over a cliff that I don't know how tall, probably 300 feet.
Yeah.
But it's 6 feet tall. I was up there looking for it, and it was behind a panel truck. I didn't see it. And I asked a bus driver about it. He says, go around behind that truck right there. You'll find it. Just about the time I walked around the truck, that stupid thing came on. Bad deal. It's bright. Ooh, and it wasn't even fully illuminated yet. You know, they come on and then they get brighter and brighter. Latin was just lighting, but it was bright. Made me feel like a real idiot because it glowed for, I mean, you couldn't miss it. But 6 feet tall. I'm taller than the lighthouse.
But it's
But
got a head start.
Yeah, it's got a head start. It's right there on the edge of a cliff. I mean, you don't want to fall off this cliff because there's rocks at the bottom, but it is way up there. I've got the specs on it somewhere, but I don't remember what they are. Like I say, CRS has me bad. I can't remember stuff like that. But Vicky and I want to go see some of the lighthouses and stuff next year, and we want to try to take this rotten dog with us. This dog is rotten. He went and had a haircut today, and boy, he thinks he's something now.
Robert, what fuselage you gonna put on that wing?
This is a Caramba XL.
Oh, the same airplane you built?
Yeah, extra light. Only there's going to be a few changes.
Making it 18-inch tail feathers. You're gonna go short.
No, it's going to be a 17-inch tail moment, but the stabilizer is going to be 4 inches wide instead of 3.
You're gonna go 26% or thereabouts.
Yeah. I don't think there's enough stabilizer on that first one.
Do a Les McDonald.
There's a lot of ways to skin a cat.
All I know is that if I can make this 10 ounces lighter, it'll be 10% better.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can.
So what are you flying now, Robert? Are you not flying now?
Well, we haven't had any weather. Flying
we've had nothing but weather lately. Bad weather.
Last airplane I flew was this, but I had a lean engine run. But other than that, I've been flying that Simply Blue.
Yeah. 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 I tell you what, Strictly Blue is a beautiful thing. I've never seen it fly, but it's a beautiful thing.
It flies all right, don't you think, Joe?
It flies just fine. It flies fine.
Most of Sparky's stuff does. Sparky just won't admit it.
Well, you got to get out there and get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be getting after it when the park is 6 foot underwater.
Man, we had 10 inches of rain here in like 2.5 days, I think. It rained. Man, did it rain.
It's 6 foot underwater, isn't it, Steve?
I don't think, I mean, it might have been at the worst, but I don't think it's that deep now.
There at the St. Louis Park was underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
I've seen it deep enough that it goes all the way to the freeway. You can't even drive on 141.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that little building we were in, it was underneath the water to the peak.
Yep. The 94 flood was so bad. I mean, it was unreal. But the last flood we had that I remember, we had a big, those big earth moving tires that are about 20 foot.
Yes.
And about 4 foot wide or whatever. There was one right in the middle of the circle. The water
floated out there.
Yeah, it didn't float. It was pushed out there.
Pushed out there. I'll be darned. Well, Steve said that it's not uncommon for that water to get up inside that little awning we were under. It could be to the base of that quite often. You think it was that deep this weekend?
Well, I don't know. It looked pretty. I got pictures of it. It looked pretty damn deep.
Pretty deep. I'll be darned. But it goes away pretty quick, y'all.
Yeah, it's part of the river. I mean, they're talking about wanting to develop that for so. How are you going to develop that when it's underwater?
Build everything on stilts and raise the road. That's really practical.
They'd have to raise the freeway, and 141 would have to be a bridge. Good grief.
Here, I'll show you.
Oh, I know. He heard you open the refrigerator. Lord. I tell you what, I have seen Booter Park, and it's a good park. It's a nice park, but I sure didn't think water would get that far. That's pretty good ways.
Well, you got pictures, Steve?
Yeah, I got a picture here. I just had to move it from my phone to the computer, so
I want to see.
stand by.
I like that standby.
Stuart, how the heck are you doing? I hadn't heard a word out of you, so I thought I'd ask you. How are you?
Good. Yeah, doing okay.
Cold weather up there yet?
Sorry?
Is it cold up there yet?
Yeah, it's around 50s, in the 50s. But we've actually had probably one of the nicest falls ever. And
I
we
think we have. I can't
Same,
believe it's
same.
this full.
like
I
Same,
can't
same.
believe how late it is and how warm it still is. I mean, I walked a dog an hour ago, and it's beautiful out there.
yeah, it's been a great fall. I just hope this continues next year.
Well,
Didn't
I
give
hope,
up
but I
right.
wouldn't bet on it.
I didn't fly too much in the fall though. I got some things I got to catch up on. So
I got two brown eyes looking at me down here saying, "Don't eat my part."
Yeah, right. Oh, they got it shut in with the lock. Look at that.
The
So
speed
It's up
cage
on
is
the fence.
underwater.
That the speech cage is under a
Yeah.
little bit.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you can see my cursor, but that's the awning.
Okay, it's up on it. Sure it is.
Yeah.
It looks like a foot and a half deep over there anyhow, maybe?
I don't know. I've seen it over the top of the roof of that.
Wow. Man, that's unfathomable. The train's going to be underwater right there.
Oh yeah.
My, my, my.
94, it was over the top of that building there up to the freeway.
Wow.
Just think of the cubic miles of water that is.
Lots of water.
Man, yeah, that's right.
Well, the Missouri River and the Mississippi River, it's like a convergence there. On the other side of the RC field is the Missouri River or Merrimack River. And it just crests over the bank and flows right in there.
My goodness.
How far
Still
is
get
that?
the rain.
Mississippi.
Like it's like up here. Last time I remember, I was a kid. And I think we got like 6 inches in like a half. That was the worst we ever had in the last 50 years, kind of thing. But I don't know. We don't get some of the big rains that you guys get. Holy cow.
Doesn't have to rain. It comes from upstream.
But there's a lot of water upstream.
But yeah, we still don't get that. We live too close to Lake Erie, so it all drains in there.
There you
Sparky,
go.
how far are you from
From the Mississippi.
Me? On a
The-
good
the
day,
park.
I could throw a rock.
Yeah. I was going to say.
How about the park?
25 miles.
25 miles?
Yeah. Mississippi is 3 blocks that way.
9 hour.
Yeah.
Sparky gets to 60 degrees that far.
What's that?
Nope. Not that far, but it ain't very far. 600 feet.
He said 9-iron, and I said you
That
could
would-
hit a
that would-
60-degree wedge that far.
We wouldn't go that far.
Golf
No,
top.
no, I won't go but
You gotta-
300
you
feet.
gotta-
You're
That
600.
means that the arch is not that far away either.
Nope.
Lord have mercy.
Well,
I've been up there. It's unfathomable that water. I mean, that Mississippi is a lot of water, and for it to get out of its banks and flood that far, that's a whole. I mean, we have the Yadkin and it floods and it's a god awful mess, but the Mississippi would make about at least five of the Yadkin, and for that sucker to get that far out of its banks, because it's a long way from the water to the top of the hill. Yeah. For it to get that far, that's a whole lot of water.
And there's miles of it, Phil. It's not just it's miles, miles and miles.
well, we got the Merrimack River right by us here. We call it the Stink River, And it was all the way up to where we couldn't drive down the street a while back. But it doesn't have to rain. It comes from upstream. The runoff. Man, I wish I had some better wood than this. Only got
If
it
there's
down to an ounce.
if there's straight wood, it's really important over flimsy wood.
Oh yeah, they're straight.
So what are you gonna do with all that 20-pound stuff you got sitting around?
Sell it.
Build furniture out of it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about building a box for an airplane. Now you asked, a 1/4-inch flap. I wish you could see it here. This is much more attractive to have an airfoil on it than just a flat 1/4-inch piece. But it does weigh 1 ounce. I've had them as light as 1/2 ounce before. That's all the wood I got.
Sparky,
It'll be all right.
It'll be fine.
It don't need to be flexing. That's the key.
Well, I built up a set.
and put a carbon fiber leading edge in it. And I thought it was pretty stout, but
How much did it weigh? I'll guarantee it wasn't as light as that. You can't build a flap lighter than you can one solid piece of wood. Because you got all the
No,
glue and all, I mean, it's because John and I tried that experiment.
I did
You
too.
can't
I
do
did
it.
too several times.
and I couldn't do it.
No,
I was kind of hoping to lead you into telling me how to do it.
it can't be done.
Hmm.
Not unless you had 2-pound wood.
Then it's not going to be very stiff.
Yeah.
Hunt said he wouldn't let go of any of his wood. His son calls it his inheritance.
That's all right.
He's the only one I know who's got 2-pound wood, him and Billy Worridge.
There's plenty more out there. We just haven't run across it yet.
What, when I
Find
find
that
it,
my savings account's going to take a hell of a hit.
It's a lot of work to build a good airplane.
Yeah, a little bit.
Speaking of building, did you build that RV9, Joe?
No, my friend in Nebraska did. Harvey Sorensen built that.
Okay.
I've known him since 1977. Harvey's wife had Colleen in church there at the Lutheran Church in Creighton. They've been there for his whole life. His daddy had the first tractor in Knox County, Nebraska. And they laughed at him because he got it stuck out in the field. We loaded it up and hauled it 7 miles to town, and they welded angle irons across that tractor wheel on that steel wheel. And they didn't laugh at him no more. He could plow with a tractor instead of using a team.
Hmm.
I think Harvey's he's built a 6 airplanes over the years.
We got anything on chat, Steve?
I don't have YouTube up. I can't be trusted. It'll feed
Yeah.
me.
Let's see if Helmet Head's on there. He was a lot of fun. Funny.
I can't be trusted. It'll.
Yeah, we got to see if people have said anything in chat. Can't forget them. Let's see here. Tony Dallas says, hi, Sparky, like given. Roy Lane says, good evening, like given. That's it. So nothing.
Got balls of dust all over you. Are you
Yeah.
here?
I'm making cards,
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
whatever.
Oh,
Well, I'm going to get off here and watch TV with Colleen for a little bit. Y'all have a good evening.
Take it easy.
try-
Good seeing
you
you
try-
guys. Good seeing you.
Good seeing
Later,
y'all too.
iPad.
Yeah. Nice.
Fly
Joe,
pretty, y'all. Fly
give
pretty.
Colleen a big hug for me.
Okay, she's
That-
back
that
there
is
making
one-
Christmas cards.
That is one sweet lady.
She's a good
Take care.
girl.
She
Bye.
is. She is that. You take care
Tell-
of yourself. We'll
tell
see you
me, yeah.
soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Lordy goodness. Oh me. Steve, what are you building? I don't see you building anything. What are you building?
I have those three sky rays. I got a build thread going on Stunt Hangar for him.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be enough to learn the pattern with.
Well, I tell you what, there's I'll never get his name right. I can't remember who did it now. But one of the guys took a Skyray, put a OS 20, not a 25, a 20 on it, and went out and got a 544 in a contest for that thing.
Yeah.
did you
I'm-
build them, Steve?
Pardon me?
You're building them?
Yes, I'm from plans.
You got
I'm
one?
gonna build one, put a 20 on it. I'm gonna see what kind of score I can get. It won't be nowhere near that, but
I have two LA 25s, and then I found a new in box FP20, which was supposed to be, that was like the original, the Brett Buck tune up where you just leave it alone.
That's
and
it.
Stock muffler. That
That's
was
it.
the original engine for that. So
Come on, it
Mhm.
needs a G2135 on there, 88 prop.
Lord have mercy. He's not wanting to go racing. Jeez. G2135. I was stupid enough, and I'll tell on myself. I had been flying a Voodoo with a McCoy 35. And I thought I was not good, but I thought I could at least go out and be a good target ship for some of the guys to practice on, cut my tail. Try not to cut my airplane, but cut my tail. I was just going to go up and give them something to shoot at. I said, I'm just going to go up and down and give y'all something to shoot at. Well, they decided in their infinite wisdom that my McCoy was not fast enough. I needed to try a Super Tiger 35. Sure, no problem. If you got one, I don't have one. If you got one, put it on there. I'll fly it. Lord have mercy. That thing about screwed me in the darn ground. God, it was twice as fast as a McCoy. I've been doing about 5-second laps. All of a sudden, I'm doing 2.5-second laps. And you want to catch me, you better be able to fly, come into a big lazy 8 and catch it, because I can't go around circles that dang fast. Man alive. And this was 30 years ago. So, I wouldn't even attempt it today. But they go out. I went down to Charlotte, Huntersville. This weekend they had a half A contest, and I went down to watch. That was a blast. I'm gonna get in that next year. I'm gonna build me a couple of half A's. I've got a couple, but not like would competing in that. So I'm gonna build a couple and see if I can't get something ready for next year. But those guys got it going on. Those kids were having a blast.
Well, at Brodak, John Parrish's and Dennis's half A was pretty cool to watch, and was really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, Mike. Oh God, I'm having a hard time with names tonight. But anyway, Mike had one there that had that little $250 motor on it. I don't remember what it's called. That thing was so fast. I was watching him fly, and I said, "No, not me." But John Paris's looked really good. That was like a thickened up Pinto wing on a profile. It really looked good.
Yeah.
John's
Yeah,
a class act.
And he had a 049 on electric. Two airplanes, one electric, one IC.
Yeah. John is a class act anytime he's there. He's got something going on. He's always fun to watch. But Dennis is another one. Dennis had that Zilch 049. I forgot what the thing's called. But man, he can fly. Dennis is one of them people that, honest to goodness, if he could figure out how to mount an 049 to a brick, he'd figure out how to fly it and fly it well. I don't know. Old Spark, I don't know. I don't know what to say about him. He can build about anything.
Damn. Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
you're still learning the pattern, or I didn't catch what you said there?
Yeah. I'm just, I have exactly one flying day under my belt. And
Okay.
I lost the airplane on the fourth flight, caught the lines on a weed taking off,
Oh, geez.
and the thing flew 10 feet over my head across the circle
Yeah.
with the line slapped when
Oops.
I got to the far side.
That's a new.
All the important stuff came out the wingtip, and that was the end of that airplane.
Wow.
So I didn't, that was last summer. This summer, my dad kind of distracted me with bass fishing all summer.
Oh, okay.
Didn't do any model airplane stuff, but
Yeah.
kind of back to it now. And I figured I'd build 3 of these Sky Rays because I see how quick they can disappear. Hopefully
Tell you
that's
what's a
enough to
great
get the
airplane.
pattern learned.
Did I ever tell you what I used when I was learning?
No,
I got the combat plane. Just a second.
I'm trying to get one.
Sign contest going with that Sig Skyray. Oh my word.
okay.
What
So-
motor?
The reason Len had given me some planes too, and I smucked them up, when I was repairing and stuff. And then I put a 15 LA on one of these, and I put on a ribbon to slow it down. And then you just didn't tune it real high. And the biggest thing I liked about doing this is if you got in trouble, you just yanked it one way or the other and it would flip and come back up. And
Can't break the fuselage.
these things, they
Yeah.
can do pretty good pounding and they're cheap. So for me, it actually worked really well because I smucked it a number of times and but I really like that idea that if I was in trouble, I'd just yank it and it would, come back up. And that saved me, I don't know how many times. Plus, like I say, they're cheap. This was a used one. I got like 3 or 4 of them that are all used, and I just fixed them up and flew them. But I started doing the maneuvers with this, like when you get into doing the clover leaf and stuff, because if you smuck it, you don't care about it, right? So, but it really worked well, I thought, for me learning. And I didn't care if I was doing the clover leaf really tight, just to get the maneuver down. And then I went back to the other one. So it worked really, really good for me. I don't know, it's just something you can think about once you get going. So like I say, and then they're cheap too.
Sounds like a winner all the way around.
Yeah.
But when you really get your head all messed up, put a 35 on that and try to fly it one time, and you get a whole new respect for the combat flyers.
I had a 25 on it, so it went pretty quick too.
Yeah.
So that's why I put her back to the 15, I think, or something when I first flew.
Mhm.
When I first flew one of these, I almost took Brad's head off. He went up and did a loop and came back down, and they started running. Oh, it was funny. Oh well.
One of our guys took an All-American senior a couple weekends ago. Well, I went up to a fellow's place up near Virginia line to fly up Meaden, and Tom tied a crepe paper streamer on behind his All-American senior and flew that. And he says, well, it takes every bit of the hunt out, but it slows it down so much that you think you just have to wait for it to finish a maneuver, and then you think you're going to chop your own tail in the
Yeah.
triangles. So I said, yeah, but there ain't no triangles in the pattern for an All-American senior. He said, yeah, but you get done, you got a little extra fuel. You got to have a little fun. He's always doing something like that. He's a heck of a pilot. I was flying my SE5 and the motor finally got broke in enough to where I've got to find my head shim maker and cut a couple of head shims because it's detonating bad. Afraid I won't take the rod out of the thing if I don't. I went up there with some 15% nitro thinking I was going to have plenty of power to pull it through. It was detonating with 5%. I got to have some head gaskets.
Stuart, what are you flying now?
Days. What are you flying now? I know you had a twister there for a while you were talking about. What are you flying now?
I was flying the Twister this summer a lot, so I got a Pathfinder I smucked before I went to the mat.
Uh-oh.
And, I'm working on putting a card, and I kind of got it started, and I'm hoping to get back in it December and finish it off, and then I got a dagger I'm going to build, and
What's a
then
dagger?
Brad gave me a vector,
Mhm.
and I flew it, and I went, wow, this is nice. But it couldn't get the engine run right. So I found out part of the problem is that the Venturi is the wrong size. It has a Super Tiger 20 or 36, I think. It's got a huge opening for the Venturi. So I'm gonna see if I can get one of them, Jim E, if he's got one that'll fit that. I don't know if he does.
You'll make one.
Jim will
Yeah.
make one for you.
So I'll get him to put one in because it was leaking out around the Venturium. Couldn't get a run. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. And then we noticed it was leaking a little bit. So so that's kind of what I've been up to, and hopefully I'll get it ready for next spring. And
Yeah.
then I got my
Sparky
note
was building
A twister, but that thing was so simple he couldn't finish it.
that.
Sparky was building a twister. He built it in about 2 days, I think.
Oh yeah.
Went as far as he got, but I don't think he ever finished it. I
Ask
get him
him
to.
about it. He's
I have
probably-
not finished the twister. I'll get to it when I get to it. I don't want to hear about that piece of crap again.
Oh, I tell you what, that plane has taught a lot of people to fly, Sparky. Oh, I had tore up a bunch of airplanes, and one of the guys, almost gave me a twister kit, and I put that thing together and learned most of the maneuvers, and but mine always hunted. It always hunted just a little bit, drove me crazy. So I crashed it one time and decided I'm gonna build another one. I'm gonna rebuild it. And then I got home and there were so many pieces that I decided it would be easier just to go ahead and buy some wood and I've got 1 or 2 ribs that I could cut out of this thing and get the rib template and just build a new wing. So that's what I did. And then one thing led to another, and I extended the wings a couple inches, 2 or 3 inches with wing tips, and put in turbolator spars. It does not have a sheeted leading edge. So I put in turbolator spars and then upper and lower, of course, and then extended the tail by 2 inches, 2 7/8 or something like that, and came up with a set of numbers that I don't remember where I came up with those numbers from, but came up with a plane and was trying to figure out what to call it and got bee stung and decided to call it the Stinger. So took it out figuring I was going to get stung with it. And it turned out to be the plane that taught me the pattern. I flew that darn thing for about 6 years. I finally hung it on the wall downstairs. I'm afraid if I flew it now, it's been down there. We've been in this house 32 years. I think it's been on the wall about 30 of those years. I think if you took it out now, you'd probably explode the monocoque. But it's still when I parked it, it was a great flying airplane. But it started out as a 35. Now it's got a 40 on it. I think it flew better with a 35, honestly. But you ought to get you one of those and try it. If you ever decide you want to just build build something that's a one step up, it's the simplest rib out there. Build you a twister and just customize it. Build something like what do they call that thing? Anyway, some of the mini planes that have come from twisters, Fancerized Twister, the Stinger, the Bounty Hunter. I've forgotten what the other's called, but they're all just Stingers. They're all just twisters that are reworked. They just work. The wing just works. Build that and put it, don't matter whether you make it electric or fuel, they fly really well. But the only thing I'd suggest on a twister is extend that tail a little bit because it's just too darn short. I've seen a dozen of them flying. I've seen maybe two that didn't hunt. Maybe two. How rough is that sandpaper, Sparky?
$180.
Well, that's not bad.
I was sanding with 80 grit to knock the edge down, then went to 180.
Yeah.
Won't
I would
start
say Sparky is a good builder, but he's actually a master of the sanding block.
That's about right. Sanding where it's at.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can make them light, right?
The only way you can make them pretty and light. It's the only way I know.
Way back when I was first getting into
To it. I joined a club here in Winston, the Golden Triad Model Masters, about 50 members. And somebody asked Tom Looper one night, said, would you do a show next month on finishing and show us the secret to finishing? Just bring whatever you need and show us the secret to finishing. So the next month, Tommy walked in with a box.
Sandpaper.
Yeah, it's all was in it was sandpaper. He said, this stuff right here is the secret to a good model and a good finish. You cannot be scared of it. And he dropped that down on the table. And everybody went over and looked through the stuff, and it's just piles and piles of sandpaper. Everything from 2,000 grit, which is newspaper print practically, to 80 grit. I've never had a piece of 80 grit in my shop. That's too rough. I've never used anything that rough.
I got 36 grit.
Lord. 36 grit, that'd be rocks on a piece of paper.
I'd like to get some 24, but they won't sell one sheet.
Holy smokes. Holy smoke.
My one sheet of 36 is 20 years old. I got to get another sheet of it. It's body shop stuff. That's what I used to shape with, move a lot of materials. But I'd like some 24. And for you guys who don't know Tommy Looper, the guy's a super, super builder. I mean, his airplanes are
He
nice.
is that. He's a super builder, he's a super flyer, and he's a super guy. He's just, I've been lucky enough to have him as a flying partner now for about 50, right at 50 years. If it's not 50, it's darn close.
And he's a super pilot carver.
Yeah, he can do that too. Yeah, I've got one like that in my new airplane.
This is a Williams Brothers pilot, but look how it's modified. It looks like Clark Gable.
Yeah, it's a good looking pilot. He does a nice job.
But I got a wood pilot in my Tucker.
Yeah.
That he did for me. Only took 20 years to get it, but.
Well, I tell you what, it's hard for Tommy to get anything done right now. He's having a hard time. But man, when he comes out flying, that's his release. That's his golf and everything else. He comes out there and flies, and he takes an All-American senior, and I don't care what class you're flying, he can spank you with an All-American senior. We went to Atlanta one time, and Tommy didn't take an airplane. He was going to go down. He just stopped by. He was on the way down to see his daughter, who lived just outside Atlanta. And I got down there and got sick and couldn't fly. Tommy come over and got my super duper zilch.
Tommy Looper.
Finished the flight and then flew my airplane and won the contest. And he'd never flown a plane before that weekend. And He's just a great guy. Now, you got to let it ring about 12 times.
Yeah, I know.
Hello?
Hello, can I talk to Tommy, please?
Just a minute.
Thank you. We'll see what he's doing.
Probably building something.
If it takes him a few minutes to come to the phone, he's probably downstairs building something.
Let's see if he's doing what I'm doing. Sanding.
Hello?
Hey, Tommy.
Hey.
It's Sparky. Are you good? Are you sanding?
Am I what?
Are you down in the basement sanding?
No, I have been a little while today, but not right now. No.
Yeah, we're online. We're having a live stream. We're talking about you, and I thought, well, we'll just call him and see what he's doing.
Hey, well, I'm glad you did, Sparky. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm still alive. Better to be seen than viewed, you know.
You did?
Yeah, better to be seen than viewed.
Okay. All right. I'll go along with that.
Yeah, I'm building all the time. You know, I haven't seen you in so long. Well, what's it been? 5 years or better?
It's been a while. Yeah, at least 4. At least maybe 4 going on 5.
Yeah, last time I saw you was Joe Nall.
That's right. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I hadn't been going much, Spark. I've been staying pretty close to home.
We're talking to your buddy Phil Bailey. He's on here now. Say hi, Phil.
Yeah,
Hi,
I
Tom.
see him every now and again. Fly with him a little bit.
Is he any good?
He has been very good before. He never moved out of advance, but he was a very good advance flyer, and but he hadn't practiced much in a pretty good while.
Well, tell him to practice right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can tell him to practice right now.
Okay.
I hear you, Luke. We'll go practice.
I'll tell him. I'll tell him.
Yeah, he hears you. All right, Tommy, I'll let you go. I just thought I'd say hi. You know, haven't talked to you in a while.
Appreciate it, Sparky. What are you building now? Something exotic or what? I know it'll be spectacular.
Yeah, I got an airplane that I designed called the Carumba, and I'm building a Carumba extra light. The first one was with a foam wing. This is with a built-up wing.
Oh yeah.
And if I can't get it light enough, I'll build it with an I-beam wing. We'll just get them light enough.
Okay, I want to build one before I die, so I better get busy. I've never built an I-beam.
Ain't nothing to it. Build it in about 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, you're a superb builder. I'm a little slow, Sparky.
You'll be all right. All right, Tommy, I'm gonna let you go. I will talk to you again soon.
Okay, Sparky, you take care and thanks for calling.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Bye. Yep, super nice man.
He never lets me get off the fact I never moved into expert. But anyway, I'll get out. I'll get there one of these days.
These
I
guys
bet you Buddy Barbie's listening. I bet you Buddy Barbie's listening on YouTube.
These guys are on an old stream saying that we sound good. And I mean, I'm talking a stream that's 4 years old. God. Unreal. Anybody get any of that carbon fiber from Frank?
Frank who?
Frank Williams.
No, I didn't know anything about it.
What's he got?
Don't you go to the forum? He's got carbon fiber for sale. 2/10 carbon bale. 40
Whoa,
bucks. 40
I'll
bucks.
get on there. I'll get on there in the morning. I might
for
get on there
5
tonight.
yards. It's a good deal.
Yeah, I'll get on there tonight or in the morning. At 5 yards, I'll take 2 of them. And use them eventually.
That includes shipping. 80 bucks. Then.
Yeah, that'd be all right. We'll do that.
That's on the classified section?
No, it's an open forum.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Let's see, Paul Taylor's bugging me about giving him permission so he can move it. Well, I don't know. I hate to monkey with the forum because it's worked so good. Every time that I mess with something, it screws up.
That has something to do with that old adage my father tried and tried and tried to instill in me, and it never stuck. If it works, don't fix it.
That's right. It's been working for almost 20 years now with a few minor tweaks.
It took me a while to figure out the engineers at Chrysler know how to build a car better than I did. That's the reason I had the kind of money tied up in a 71 Duster I had. I'm gonna put headers on it and new carburetors and make it better. Yeah, drank more gas and oh God. Custom paint job. Oh Lord.
Did you know a 2-barrel will turn a faster ET than a 4-barrel?
Yeah, well, that's true to a point. That is true to a point. Hell, I had 6 barrels.
Yeah. Paste. Search. Okay, now I gotta go through this. Dan and Campbell. What do you Dan? There's no damn Dan on here. Oh, I hate it. That's why I want you guys to use your real name or so. I can't find you when this guy just made a contribution. I can't find him because his name's not listed. Fuck. Everybody, Dan and Campbell. DANAN Campbell. It don't come up. Well, I think this wing is going to be a little heavier than I wanted. It's going to be 13 ounces. And what I don't understand is each wing panel weighed 2.5 ounces. And then I started putting it together, all this other stuff on here, the hardwood for the bell crank and the horn and all that shit, and the landing gear doors. Just picked up the weight quick.
Tell you how to save some weight. It won't build as fast, but I can tell you how to save some weight. Use white glue instead of CA.
Yeah, that don't make no
Use
difference.
you use a 2-ounce bottle of CA on a plane. That plane weighs 2 ounces more. That CA does not lose weight.
That's right. Neither does alphatic resin. It'll lose a little weight.
Oh yeah, it does too.
Not
Alphatic
much.
resin. You put on 4 ounces of glue, it'll weigh 2 ounces. You put on 2 ounces of CA, it still weighs 2 ounces. Alphatic will weigh about half to a third of what it went on at.
So
Because
what
the
you
water
just said there,
dries up
what's the
good.
difference if you put 4 ounces of glue on and have 2 ounces left, or 2 ounces of glue on and have 2 ounces left? Same thing.
Well, you ain't gonna use 4 ounces. Look at a 4-ounce bottle of CA. You build 2 airplanes. What do you build 3 or 4 airplanes out of that?
Well, this 2-ounce bottle of CA is about halfway down, and this is an old bottle, so I don't use much.
Oh, okay. I have seen a lot of people use a bottle per airplane.
No.
And that's 2 ounces you just added to your plane.
That bottle of glue right there built 2 airplanes already. So
yeah, I don't use much of it either.
The twister, it built this, the twister, and this, and we've still got half of it left. I mean, can't really tell because it's hit. We got a third of it left.
You only use thin CA, Sparky, or do you ever use medium for anything?
I don't use medium for nothing. You notice that when I glued this sheeting on, I used the white glue. If you're gonna glue stuff like that together, need slow bond, just use white glue. Here comes Howard's phone.
Yeah, Howard's coming in.
Cool deal.
Good deal.
Hey, Howard.
Hi.
Welcome
Hi.
to the madness.
Oh, nice to be here. Nice to be Matt.
Yeah. Good
What's-
to see you again.
Thank you. I went to a stunt contest last week.
How'd you do?
I got third place.
Cool
I
deal.
won a homemade plastic trophy I could have made myself.
Yeah, you did make it yourself. You're Haskell. I know you. You did make it yourself.
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful trophy.
Yeah, I ought to put it on the mantle here.
Well, why don't you?
Well, I wonder where it is. Oh, I don't know where it is. I better look for it.
Yeah. Who won?
Prestes.
That figures. If he shows up, he's dangerous.
Yeah, David Fitzgerald was second, so there was about a 50-point gap between second and third.
Believe that.
Yeah.
Not the way you fly.
No. Well, I flew pretty well. I was kind of surprised.
You got to figure out how to knock the halo off those guys.
Well, I think it's by flying good stunt. Yeah, they fly pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two do. That's the problem. It's hard to
Knock those two because they do fly that well.
Yeah.
Mm. What happened to Paul? He didn't go?
No, it's winter at his house, then he can't practice.
Okay. I thought he lived right there
Near you.
Well, he lives on the other side of the state, and
Oh, okay.
there's this mountain range between us, and it's all it's wet on this side and it's desert on that side, and it gets cold in the winter over there.
That sand gets cold, yeah.
Yeah.
My sister used to live in oh shoot. It's right inside of Mount St. Helen. It was right outside their back. I mean, it was 20 miles away, but you could see it.
Oh,
Bader.
it may not.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
Bader,
you live
Washington.
in Seattle, Howard? Or do you...
Olympia. It's about 50 miles south of Seattle. I used to live closer.
I lived in Seattle for a while. Worked in Emerald City.
At what city?
Emerald City. That's what they call the bay there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I spent a little time there.
Rained, didn't it?
A lot.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Terrible. But you know what? Seattle had the best water I've ever tasted. And there's a fountain on every corner. It was cool.
Oh.
Ice cold water.
Oh. Yeah. I should drink more water, shouldn't I?
You know, and they didn't, it wasn't a fountain that you could turn on or off. It just ran 24 hours a day. Spouting
Oh.
Wow.
Wasting water.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. They must have taken them off.
Yeah.
You ever been down? Have you been to Seattle off Burnside? Burnsides?
What's Burnsides?
A street.
Right.
Wait a minute. Burnside was Portland. Yeah, Burnside was Portland, Oregon.
I have sideburns.
Yeah.
Actually, sideburns were named after General Burnside.
Yeah.
Same guy.
You been down the fish market there
Yeah, I've been there.
where they throw fish at each other?
They throw fish at each other. Yeah, I've seen them thrown.
Yeah.
Why did I don't
Why do they throw fish at each other?
I don't know. This-
Big ones
it's,
too.
it's a sort of a farmer's market thing. This guy was selling bananas, and he had a sign up that said "boneless bananas." And Mary Lou is humor impaired, and so she didn't get the joke. So she said, "Why do they call these boneless bananas?" So the guy said, "Well, because they don't have any bones." And that conversation went on for 5 minutes or so. It was hilarious.
Oh, that's that.
What's new in Stunt?
Lousy weather, I guess.
Oh,
Sparky's field is underwater. We keep getting rain here, rain and wind. Every time I think we're going to go or paint or do anything, it's rain or wind. I'm going to have to work on my building because the only way I'm ever going to get anything painted is to go ahead and get that paint booth finished.
yeah. I'm. We're fixing to make batteries.
Oh Lord.
That's what I'm working on, Howard. This one.
Oh, what is it?
It's the same thing as let me see here if I change the it's the same airplane as that one there, only built up instead of a foam wing.
Oh,
Not an SV.
okay. Yeah. Jim Aaron decides that we're all going to go to my house. A whole bunch of people are coming to my house to build batteries. So we all got 100 18650 cells apiece. And I better get some more fire extinguishers because a bunch of guys are coming over here to build batteries one of these days.
How many guys?
I don't know. I don't know how many he invited.
1,000 batteries make a hell of a fire.
Yeah.
You couldn't put it out with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that. No, just 100 batteries apiece.
10 guys.
Spot weld or solder?
That's the question. I'm fixing to weld. I'm borrowing a spot welder. So, how much resistance is in a spot weld?
16. That'd be 16 packs a piece. Wow.
I think the answer is 43.
43 what?
That was from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That was 42.
I thought it was 43.
Maybe it's 43. I forgot.
Well, it was somewhere in there.
Yeah.
42, 43, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I guess that's the second time I've heard that book referenced, and I've never read it. I guess I'm gonna have to read the darn thing.
You could just watch the movie.
Ought to. So you use nickel strips, or you use nickel plated copper strips, or what do you use for?
I haven't built any yet for airplanes. I used to build all kinds of batteries for cars, but that was always just a gold plated copper bar or a straight copper bar soldered.
Soldered.
Yeah.
Huh.
But those weren't lithium batteries. That was first NiCad and then nickel metal.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, they tell you not to solder them, but a lot of people do.
Right.
I finally found out.
I kept trying to figure out why not solder it. Why not? And I don't understand why not. It's because of the heat. You can melt a joint. They supposedly get hot enough if you pull enough current to melt a solder joint.
Yeah, which you'd probably find out about
Instantaneously.
Yeah.
When you're flying upside down.
I thought
most likely
that you put more heat in the cell when you solder it together, and it degrades the cell before you use it. That
If you
was
do it
mine.
with that stuff that Trayan found, you don't degrade it much because you ain't got the heat on it for long.
Yeah.
He showed us he soldered some together on the air, and I just couldn't believe how fast that thing went.
Oh,
And he wasn't using a great big soldering iron; he's using a little pencil iron.
oh,
I said, for heaven's sakes! It was that stuff he used to clean it and get it ready. I've forgotten what you call it. I've got it written down in my notes. I can find it, but
Liquid rust.
well, it wasn't that, but it was something weird. It was
Muriatic
some
acid.
wise. Do what?
Muriatic acid.
That's what it is, but they call it something different.
yeah, I read it.
It acts like flux.
It
It
would.
acts, oh, yeah. It acts like flux. And when he put the heat to it and then applied the solder, it melted and went on that thing, just flowed out just right now. There wasn't any sitting there puddling and then the puddle spraying out. And it was there. And then when he put his wire on there, he pre-tinned the wire and put that wire on there, and it was just that quick.
Yeah, it was pretty fast.
Then there's connectors. Uh, people don't like Dean's connectors anymore.
Yeah, I'm still using Dean's, but when I change, I'm gonna change to those y'all showed me at the Nats. Those are much nicer.
Spectrum ones.
That.
Yeah,
Got 3 contacts in it. You don't use the center one, but it's got 3
yeah. I see 3.
Yeah.
I see 3. Okay. I couldn't remember what you called the darn things.
Batteries.
Mm.
Put on a Spectrum battery.
Yeah,
Yeah, the reason the good thing about that is to do with the when you join them together, you don't get the spark.
oh, you can use that middle thing as a desparker.
Well,
No.
I think that the spectrums were for where you when you put them together, you didn't hear the snap. You didn't get that. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Or I've heard that. So
I thought they use it as a signal lead because the chargers, the
Yeah.
Spectrum charger, you just connect the battery to it and you don't have to program it for how many cells or capacity or anything. It just
It's
configures the charger automatically.
that
Yeah.
was something you too with the.
I thought it was a multiplexed balance connector where it interrogates one cell at a time. But yeah, it could have other information there too, couldn't it? That's cool.
Let me end the stream. You guys can hang out afterwards, and Steve will be your host. I appreciate you guys watching us on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe and share. And the sharing really helps quite a bit. And then we got a couple of people who said, Wayne says, hi, Sparky, and everyone at Like Given. I mean, obviously. And then Buddy Barbie says, hey, Sparky, like Given. Okay. So,
Told you, buddy.
Be on here.
like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to join the after party, you got to go in through Stunt Hangar. So, fair winds, tight lines. We'll see you.
Okay.
Now we can use foul language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.